So some of you, probably none of you, but maybe a couple of you, may have been to a dollar store around, early 2000s, from anywhere from 2000 to like 2004. Either a dollar store or a Radio Shack or a Walmart or a Best Buy or something. And usually on clearance they'd have these games that would be advertised as being 3D. Very generic titled 3D Frog Frenzy, 3D Maze Man, 3D Bug Attack, 3D Bubble Burst. All these very generic titled games, which are all clones of pre-existing games like Frogger or Breakout or Donkey Kong. These games were all developed by one studio called Webfoot Games. And what I did was I went around and I kind of scoured the web for every game that this company had made. And this isn't every game that they made, because there's a couple out there that I could not find, but I know that they made. But as far as what exists on the web and what exists in my possession, because I actually own a couple of these on disc, what I did was I put them all in a package that you can download and play on Windows 7 or Windows 8 or Windows 10. What I did was I didn't only just download them and put them in folders, but I also fixed them so they would work on Windows 7, because by default most of the installers are 16-bit, so they will not work on Windows 7. So what I did was I went through and I found all the installers for these games, extracted their contents manually, and then put them in the folders, so you don't even have to install them. You can just run them straight from the folders. Another thing I did was I fixed the resolution problem that it has. All the games by default, they all run on the same engine, so it was very easy for me to do. They all set the screen res to like 800 by 600, and it goes in full screen, and it goes black, and it's hard to minimize out of, and it's just a pain in the ass. So what I did was, every game has this INI file, like this one, which it'll open up eventually, and I don't know about this one, but some of the other ones have some values at the top for resolution, and what I did was I just copy-pasted the same resolution options for every game, so it would run on my screen at least. Now, when you go to play these, they won't be optimized for your computer, because you need to go into the INI files, and then at the very top here, yeah, here it is. My screen is 1280 by 1024, but if you have a 1080 screen, like most people do, you're going to want to change that to 1920 by 1080 or whatever your screen resolution is, and then X32 for 32 bits per pixel. The game runs at 640 by 480, but you can change that, and you can make it bigger or smaller or whatever here, but I don't recommend doing that. So, aside from that, one thing you might want to also do is go into the properties of each game and go to compatibility and run it in Windows 95 compatibility mode, because if you don't, it'll say that you need DirectX 7 or something stupid like that. But yeah, that's how you fix it pretty much. And then when you run it from here, it will tell you that it can't find this one file called resource.dat, and I'll explain that in a minute. But if you hit OK, boom, boots right up. I know a lot of people had these games growing up and have fond memories of them. I don't know if anybody following this account will, but I know that many people do, and I have an alt where I upload music, and I uploaded the music from these games, and a lot of people said that they had really good memories of these games, so I figured I'd find them and upload them for people to play, because they're very hard to find online, and some of the games are only available on disc. Some of these games I could not find online. I had to take them off of discs that I physically own, which I do own a couple of them, because I used to get these at the Radio Shack and stuff. Now, another thing I did here, alongside fixing the game so it functions properly, that thing that you saw that says it can't find resource.dat, that's because it typically does come with a file called resource.dat, but what I did was I took out all of the assets from the game and put them in... I took them out of the resource file and just put them in the folder. So instead of reading them from resource.dat, it reads them from the folder here, which you're not going to notice it, but it loads faster, A. And B, you can actually go in here and you can change stuff. You can mod the game if you want to. And I did that for every game So if you really, really want to change the graphics or something for these games, or you know, at least like maybe data mine or something, you can go in here and you can see all the graphics from the game and all that, and you can change them too, so you can do whatever you want with those. So yeah, that's pretty much it. There are 18 games in total. One of the games, Safari Congo, is actually pretty much a direct copy paste of another game called Frog Frenzy 2, so I didn't include that one, and not to mention I could not find it on the internet, so that one's not included. Also, there's one other thing. Actually, no, I think that's it. Oh yeah, this 3D Toad Panic. This actually isn't really the game. This game was actually released way before all the others on Macintosh only, but apparently if you run it with the 3D Frog Frenzy engine, it functions perfectly fine. And it's pretty much the same game as 3D Frog Frenzy, except there's no text on screen, and when you die you turn into a skull, which is slightly different than the final version, which you turn into an angel. So, yeah, what this does not include, though, is a couple of years back they decided to reskin all these games and give them, like, HD graphics. Those aren't included, and I don't know why anybody would really want those. They look kind of ugly, to be honest, and they're pretty much the same game anyway. So, yeah, these are the original versions. Like I said, I don't know how many people have actually even heard of these, but I figured I'd archive them because you can't find them anywhere else online. So, boom, here you go. Enjoy. Downloads in the description. It's on my Dropbox.